Hello everyone, welcome back to series number 2. In the first video, what we did is we started the project from scratch for a Cucumber based Spring Boot project. So looking at that, we ran a quick build and the build was successful. Basically, there only one class, which is Spring Boot application annotation based. And when we run this class, the main method, it is going to run the Spring program, and you will see like that. We're going to leverage this feature of cool features of the Spring Boot, and that's the main purpose of this series of the video. If you missed the first video, please, I would recommend you watch that first, so that it gives you more idea, so that you don't have to struggle on if workspace isn't properly set up or things like that. So looking at that, this is just the project information like artifact ID. These are kind of free to put whatever you want. Group ID is mainly the package structures, and artifact ID is mainly what you want to display your project as. And then version is up to you, which version. As you make more progress, more changes, this version could go up. And then down we're using Java 11, and then the only dependencies we're using from Maven is for the Spring Boot related. So far nothing besides it's a testing because everything's empty. So we are going to convert this into Cucumber today. And then there are some Spring Boot related build plugins that we're going to use for this project. Beside from Spring Boot, we have a Lombok. We're going to talk more about this, and we're going to use more on this. The main idea of Lombok is to minimize the code, like all getter, setter, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to use that today. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to pull in some of the Cucumber based library. I have already pulled in from the Maven website. So what I do is I'm just going to simply paste it here to save time. So mainly what we did is go to Maven website and look out for Cucumber, and what we need so far is Cucumber Java, Cucumber JUnit, and Cucumber Spring. So these are the main 3 annotations we need. So after that, we are pretty much done here. Let's run a quick build because that's very important. If you add any new plugins or any artifacts into POM, you want to build it, make sure the library is properly pulled in and all that kind of things. So while it continues to run, one thing I would like to do is first of all go into your if you are using IntelliJ, go into File, Settings, and look for this annotation. When you hit annotation and you see this, this is by default unchecked. I want you to check this and hit OK. So that's very important for all the annotations to work properly. Apart from that, we need one more library plugin to install, which is go from the settings and look for plugins. When you look for plugins, you want to search for Lombok. Let's find out. So look for Lombok here. Search in the marketplace and Lombok. It is like a chili sign. This is what it helps. So more to read. There are so many documentations on this. We feel this is more helpful, so we're going to install it. And you will have to restart the IDE for this. When it alerts, just say yes. Okay, it restarted. Now we are going to use some cool feature of Lombok, and it is going to work a very cool way. So we're gonna use more of that. Next step, what we're gonna do is let's open the terminal and build it. Yeah. And then we need one more panel from the side just so we can have this view. It's going to be very helpful. So from the main class that we have left this last time, it remains there, and and we are pretty much done here for the main part. Let's go to this Java. First of all, let's create a package which is as equal to that, otherwise it is not gonna work correctly. So we're going to do that's our package, same as main. So what we want to do is we want to, first of all, we want to load our config related items. So we're going to focus on that. So very first thing is outside of this, right inside of this package, let's create a class called config load. So main purpose of this class is just to load the config. So what we do is, first thing we're going to do the component. So component is mainly used for the SpringBoot whenever we run a SpringBoot app, and it is going to look out for everything that has a component, and it will scan through what's needed for each application to run. After the component, what we need is we need to tell that where the properties are for our test files. Let's say we have a file called run configuration.properties inside config. So this is going to be usually the best practice put in config is inside the resources. Let's create a directory called config, and inside config we're gonna put this file in. So this is a property file where we're gonna access our test run related data. So let's say browser let's say we're just gonna dummy some dummy data there, so just so that we can access it. After that, what we need to do is we got that taken care of. Now we need to find another way to trigger this application. So we need one more class inside that same block. So for this one, we're gonna call Cucumber config, Cucumber configuration .java, and then for this, what we need is we need to say without context configuration, it is not gonna work. So we need another SpringBoot test. So now we need to tell where to go for that. So classes equals. So mainly this is around here. So what we're telling is every time when we want to run a test, it has to go into this class, and then it will scan through everything that is part of that. So after this, we are pretty much done here. After that, let's create one more package here. Package called let's say datasets is the one. Okay, that's good. So inside this, we're going to create a class called what do we call? Run configuration is a class, let's say. So this has to have a component scan. And then definitely we need a data. So data comes from the Lombok. After that, what we need is basically we just need a value annotation. That one. And then value will be pretty much what the key is inside the property file. That is only what we need here. So browser is the value. So when you go here, browser browser is inside this value. This is the key. So what we're telling is every time you come here inside this run configuration class, which whenever Spring Boot is going to scan through, and then you come in to find out every keys that are here inside the value annotation and put that value here. So whenever we access the browser, we can use that from get browser like that. So there's another key we have. We're going to add that also here, same as that. So idea behind why we are using data annotation, let's put that up. It's the same thing, but just so that it kind of looks like stairs. So another idea behind why we are using Lombok is with the Lombok, we don't have to write any more extra code. Otherwise, to access these variables, we will have to write public getter, setter methods. So to avoid that, Lombok will take care of that. That's why mainly we are going to use Lombok for. So from the configuration side, we're good also. So now let's create a step or let's create a Cucumber feature file. New directory. Let's say feature files. Inside there, let's find a call dummy test. It will be feature dummy. Let's say that is our Cucumber step. So what we need to do is at minimum this code to work, this to work as a test, we have to write a step definitions, mainly Java code behind this, and that has to have a same value in the step definition. So for that, let's create some package here which is called steps. Inside that, let's say Java class called dummy steps. So for here, what we need, right? We need @given that and that. Something like that. And then here, Alt Enter is going to help you to import, or you can just hover over and do that. Let's save this all. So far what we have done is we created a feature file that has some step that navigates here. It has a Cucumber steps that is related to that. There are configuration file called runConfiguration.properties, which has a key and a value. This value is loaded into some runConfiguration.properties datasets. So here we're using key value pair. Mainly the SpringBoot will take care of this part. So two things, if you want to use this flow, make sure this value annotation is coming from SpringBoot. Lombok also has a value annotation, so that that will not work if that is the case here. This has to come from the SpringBoot value. After that, config load is mainly telling where to look out for the property files. And then Cucumber context is telling which class to first trigger in order to entire engine to work. Basically, this is the engine starter. So we are triggering not from our hand here. Instead, we're invoking this through the stairs of this path, and then it will go one by one and it will trigger here. Eventually, once this is triggered, that's when entire package is being scanned to look out property file and what to do and all basic stuff. I mean prerequisite steps for setting up the configuration and all that. Okay, so one more item is remaining, which is to run now. We needed two more things here. So let's add some Cucumber runner package called let's create a class called test runner, and then after that this class has to have run with annotations, just like our other Cucumber test will have. Cucumber.class. If you hover, you'll see Alt Enter. Same time you have to press. After that, you will need a Cucumber options. Have the open parenthesis, hit enter. At minimum, you need to provide where the feature files are. Equals. That's good enough. And then steps is a glue. SpringBoot dot Cucumber. So there's another options called publish. It's your choice. If you put publish as a true, so what it will do is it will give you a link to look at the test into the dashboard. So it will upload your test results into Cucumber's free dashboard, and you can see your test there. That can be good for your testing phase with some kind of dummy kind of framework like this, but it's not that recommended for the project specific works. So we have the runner. Okay, one more time, let's do some recap. We have a feature file that goes through the Cucumber steps. So we have a step defined for the feature file. We're done there. We got some properties. We want to read it out. For now, we're not doing anything with that because we're not accessing any of that. We're going to go for next round for that. Cucumber context. For this one, we are telling Cucumber to load all configurations for Cucumber and also trigger this test class. Config load is mainly we're telling whenever you trigger and you need some source, this is where our files at. You can do comma separated and add multiple files with that also if you have. Dummy steps is where this is defined. Test runner is which will be running test as. Run configuration is mainly it has all configuration data like a getter setter which are pulled in from this property file, and we have this main class. So these are the only items we have. In the POM we have only thing we have in the POM is just the dependencies for Cucumber. So first time I'm going to trigger this test. Let's see how we run. So what we can do is you can go into the runner. It has a play button you can trigger there. So whenever you see this, it is working correctly and it has all green on it. So your test is running successfully and it tells that, right? So now what we want to do is, and then there are new link here. If you see this link, you can click that link or copy that link. Let's open that in a browser. Now you can see that our test is there. So if you want, yeah, it is not that fancy, but you can see that wherever your test is, it has exactly, if your test is failing, that it will say, it will show the red icon, but this is for free, and it will restore multiple histories. If you don't want it, you can delete it also, and it is just temporary direct reports, not for like on the daily basis. It also has the information about your systems configurations and how long the test took to run and all, what version and all that things. So yeah, this is pretty much like a Jenkins report. Now what we want to do is we want to access, because right now what we did is we simply ran our test. We did not do anything regarding these property files access, but we want to access this data. For now, to quickly do it, what we do is we're going to use the auto-wire feature. That's the main benefit of using SpringBoot, right? Auto-wire. So what you want to auto-wire is anything that has a component on it. So here, what you want to auto-wire is you want to find out which is the data set. This is where your data is. We want to access these values. So to do that, copy this, go back to steps. So here, Alt Enter. Now what I want to do is you see get test type. We did not write get test type, but it is coming from Lombok. So let's put another one. Let's say something like that, right? So the main purpose is I just want to show that how we can access this with this auto-wired functionality that is provided by default with the Spring. So now if I want to run this, let's just hit a quick build, clean package. So I want to see the value that is defined in the property file. I want to see Chrome and that. When you run build, and if you don't skip it, will run that test already, but let's run it again. So test runner, go trigger that. So you see the value is coming from the property file here. So your value is already there, smoke test and Chrome. And again, this is the same link. Link you can use that for the other tests. Let's say now I'm going to use the new tab. I want to see if I have the test there. Right, so this test is already there. We got it, and then all over there. So yeah, that's the main benefit over running this test, and you see how you can integrate with the SpringBoot's latest features with your automation testing and make it like really robust. So if you have any questions, please ping message or comment your feedbacks, and I will try to address them. So far, I think this is a pretty lengthy video, but there are lots of valuable information around it. Beside that, we have almost everything out here. In the next coming video, we're gonna integrate with browser and how we can launch the browser and write some dummy test around it, because we didn't do anything browser. Although it is going forward, it's not a new thing. It is just going to be the same. But we will try to integrate the browser and make this test much more advanced. Please follow my videos and tune in for next series of this next series of this video, and you will see I'll try to show you some cool features. Thank you for bearing with me, and so finally, SpringBoot run configurations with the Lombok's annotations. We didn't have a getter setter method like public get string like. We didn't have that, but it is working. One another thing, sometimes you might have some mandatory field. Let's say you want to provide some browser called IE, and let's say you want to provide the browser called IE. That is, if this value isn't provided, it will pull in this value as a default. That's the main purpose of having the colon. You can do that way as well. So let's say your property file does not have the value Chrome here. It was just empty, or let's say you don't have a key at all. So that time it will not fail, otherwise it would fail. So here, when I run the same test and I didn't have a Chrome, let's see what it does. So you are seeing IE is coming there, although I didn't have that. The value is out there, but it is pulling IE. Now, if I want to go back there and remove this part, you're gonna see this is going to fail. You don't have to save, I think that will be fine. So now I don't have a key called browser in the property file. I only have a test type. Now I expect this test to fail. Which is a valid reason, and if you want to see the logs are out there, it says it clearly. It says it failed. Now you have to look out for what happened here. Dependencies failed with the browser, could not resolve the placeholder for browser. So you are saying this is a variable, look out for this key somewhere. It is somewhere here, but you didn't even pass it. So that's what it is saying. So you can handle kind of, sometimes you have a null pointer, you can handle like that with this same value annotations. So okay, one final run, and I'm going to close out this video with the clean run. So this time it should pass, and we got Chrome value because it is working correctly and everything's green. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for bearing with me and this lengthy video, and please feel free to comment for all of your valuable feedbacks, and I'll try to address as soon as possible, and I'll try to help you on that. Please, if you haven't, subscribe my channel, support my channel, and share, like, thumbs up. Thank you very much.